the meaning of an event depends on how we frame it, agree or not, right? When we change a frame, we actually change the meaning itself, right? For example, right, so let's say the event of slipping on a banana skin, it's very different depending on whether you are the observer or you are the victim person, right? So the three strategies that's covered in this chapter on reframing the goal is that the first one, a question of perspective, right? So um, I think it gives the example of weight loss in this chapter. For example, weight loss, right? It's focused on the very things that we do not want, such as the weight, right? And how much more compelling it would be if we focus on what we want. For example, slim body and reduce the fat, for example. So it's not about away from goal, right? Because weight loss is still don't want that weight. So it's not about away from, and it's quite unspecific as well if you are talking about weight loss, but how much, right? How much weight loss is going to be successful. So this is not very a good perspective here. And if we could actually reframe weight loss, maybe more people would succeed in being the size they want to be. So we go to the next two strategies, which I think can be quite technical. So that this strategy is about a six-step reframe technique. So, and this one is actually developed by Richard Bandler as well as Grinder, which is the founder of NLP, and together with Milton Erickson and Virginia Satir. I think they are all the long-time psychologists, etc. So you can research more about the background, but I'm going to share with this six-step process. Okay, so the first one is to identify the thing you want to change. And in this case, right, the example can be overeating, right? I mean, that's why you gain weight, right? You want to lose weight, right? But the problem is you overeat too much, right? So that's step one, identify the thing you want to change, all right? And step two is to establish a communication with a part of you that overeats, right? Is it that something in your, or somewhere in your body or your mind, is it the inner voice that saying that, hey, go on, you deserve it, you had a bad day, you got to just eat more? Or was it that hungry feeling, you look at the dessert or the smell of that chocolate that got you want to eat a lot more? So that's step two. And step three is to then think, hey, what exactly are the benefits that it has for me by doing so? And what positive thing is it trying to do for you? Does it want you to feel more love and full and have a nice sweet taste in the mouth itself? Or does it relieve your anxiety or boredom and make you feel good? Do you get off, of doing something that you don't want to because you're overweight? So yeah, just consider what benefits it has for you in terms of your actions. And step four is to be curious. Curious about how could you satisfy that positive intention in a different way so that you could meet your outcome still, right? So basically changing the action here. Be curious. How could you satisfy that positive intention? And of course, once you have think it through, step five is to consider the different options. Straightforward. And step six is to fast forward and imagine yourself doing this new behavior and check how if it's worked for you. If it's worked, that's it done. If it's not, then keep repeating from step four again. All right. So that's also a few um, frames that we can actually go about. The first one is actually the outcome frame, whereby we focus on the well-informed outcome and wording our goal as something we do want. Make it smart, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time. So in the context, right, instead of like what weight we want to be, uh, yeah, instead of weight loss, we could be deciding what is that specific weight, size we want to be, and then devise a plan towards it. We can visualize how we look and feel when we are on that weight. So that's the first one, outcome, right? So then the next frame is on the backtrack frame. It's where we go back to the first time where we had the issue and behavior on the chain and check whether this is the behavior we still pursue or not, right? So that's the backtrack. And the third one is evidence frame, and that's to use on checking how you are doing. For example, right, what evidence do you have that's working? How do you feel? How do your clothes feel when you actually lose weight, and how do you look, right? Keep checking how you're doing. So for a progress, right, evidence, right? And when you have a lot of weight to lose, right, it's easier to feel downhearted. But by checking the evidence, even by looking at the mirror itself, right, you just feel more empowered, feel good, rather than just dismissing it, right? And the fourth frame is about as if frame, and it's where we behave as if we have already achieved our goal. And So in this case, it's like we already behave like a slim person, whereby a slim person don't eat that much, they don't just anyhow eat. We can model people who have already at this size and be more active, right? So basically, as if will help us to behave in a state whereby we already achieved the outcome. And the final frame is about the ecology frame, whereby we check on how our outcome actually fits those around us. So, for example, does the overeating behavior, right, actually fit with the people you spend time with, and how can you still keep your friends and family happy, yet you change this behavior to meet the goals too? Okay, so putting it all together, instead of having a weight loss goal, why not reframe it by using the six-step frame, and as well as identify the specific behavior you want to change and the positive intention behind it, and substitute with some alternative behaviors that will still meet the same need and still achieve your desired outcome, right? So consider using one of the five different frames, like you mentioned, outcome, evidence, backtrack, etc., to help you to achieve, reach your goal and overcome any barriers that you might have stopped with in the past. So that's the referring the goal. And there's still more for us to talk about the goal. So the number four chapter in this book is about understanding the goal. All right, see you in the next video.